with TIO for a number of years. I think we started back in 2018. It's been enormously valuable to me as a single practitioner. During the last couple of years, I have had another clinician working with me, but what I've found is connecting to a bigger group and being at the forefront and with colleagues that are willing to share, really having that collegiate kind of environment to give you information moving forward. I found that incredibly useful. Helped me survive COVID, for sure. Without them, I would have gone completely mad. I started monitoring braces patients this year, really in reality, well, last year a little, but the main drive was through COVID. We got people to send in photos of where they were up to triage them coming in for appointments. And I found that particularly useful to know, and for the girls to set up, are we going to replace a bracket? Does the wire need changing? And really trying to move to that appointment on demand system. We're making it the most efficient way we can to see the patient. We're just not in to change a couple of modules. Dental monitoring has helped indirectly with scaling the practice, and I think at a time where there's a lot of change for us in this practice with COVID. I mean, I do keep coming back to COVID, but Melbourne was hit very hard, and it's really only November last year, so November 21, and we're now November 22, that in that last 12 months that we've gone back to some kind of normal practice. Going back, I had lost a lot of staff. We had patients that were really out of sequence, so our ability to use dental monitoring with less staff to manage the same patient pool was enormously helpful. So I guess it's not scaling in the sense of the practice all of a sudden got twice as big, but we had 70% less staff all of a sudden. We've built them back up again now because that's not realistic, but it just meant it was manageable, which was fantastic. The braces workflow has changed a little, and what we do, we've now moved to appointments on demand, and to enable us to do that, our braces patients are scanning every 2 weeks. If my expectation is that they're going to be coming in 8 to 10 weeks, that's when I kind of most likely would see them. We put a recall in our system for 8 weeks, that then the girls look at the recalls for 8 weeks, those braces patients that are due, will they be benefiting from an appointment in the next 2 weeks, or are we better off waiting a little bit longer? And the only other way that they would come in sooner is if the protocol has triggered a brackets off. So that would be a notification, we'll know earlier, and they will be brought in earlier to fix it. But we'll be able to allocate more time for that. With dental monitoring, you can set up the alerts, and we've set ours up probably a little bit differently to some people. We certainly got through Dr. Rhonda Coyne a lot of information and how she'd set up hers to start off with, and that was really useful, and dental monitoring helped us arrange that. For each individual patient, we kind of look at where in the beginning of their treatment, where we want to be looking at them in particular. Is it about class 2 correction, or is it about alignment initially, overbite, overjet? The things that I find hard to match dental monitoring and in the clinic still is vertical measurements, or horizontal and vertical measurements, so overjet and overbite. Accuracy, we're looking at how accurate that is versus our measurements. So I've built into every appointment we do now measuring overjet and overbite, so we can start comparing how accurate it is. I think it's very difficult to standardise that, and it's patient related. So when they take the photos, are they posturing? And then it's not that the computer can't measure it, it's that the patient isn't consistent in how they're biting, and we even find that in the clinic. And so it's training the staff to make sure they're biting correctly when you're taking photos, and that will follow through to dental monitoring. I think dental monitoring has helped with emergencies and triaging as a main part of its benefit. The unpredictable nature of braces and where someone's up to is why it becomes inefficient. By addressing that early, I think we're saving time in the long run. One of the great aspects about DentalMonitoring's platform is the before and after video. Patients get to see that and they can scroll through at any time. I've had a number of patients come in and just say to me, did you see how much it's changed? And they can see a tooth moving down, particularly with braces patients where they haven't necessarily been able to see their teeth as much, but they can see the changes that are happening, and it's really exciting for them. I'm happy to talk about how often you see the patients, because I did look at a good system of, you know, a standard patient, how many times do I see them? And I don't think it's radically changed over the years. The difference, I think, is the feel in the clinic. So the chaotic nature of having to just keep guessing what's happening and setting up immediately on the day, we don't have to do. So we feel, I think the clinic feels calmer and it feels more organised. Each appointment is nicer, that touch point. It's not this whole, oh my God, what am I going to do? We don't have enough time to do that. I've got 3 patients, I've got 1 patient in the waiting room, that sort of thing. So now we're like, no, we've got 20 minutes, we can rebond that bracket, we can change the wires, that type of, benefit. I've used goals while monitoring dental monitoring patients. I've looked at centerline. Often I'm using asymmetric elastics, and despite not being able to be as confident with the overjet measurements, if the centerline is improving and you're using asymmetric elastics, I think that's a really positive thing. So I'll often put in, well, our goal should be centerline correction by this date. Otherwise, I don't think the elastics are doing their job, and I get the patient back in to try and find out why. Largely, they're really happy, and I think again it comes, the braces patients are happy doing the dental monitoring. I think it's because we're trying to introduce it from the outset, not patients that were already in the system and coming in. So we've almost got rid of the patients, we've almost eliminated the need for booking appointments in advance. So all our aligner patients are on appointments on demand. All the new braces patients are on appointment on demand. So we've got very few sitting in the schedule, and it means that we're able to change the schedule a bit more to achieve that. So my advice to people starting monitoring with dental monitoring and braces patients is start fresh. Start with the new patients that make it part of your new patient workup, so that you're introducing it and you're introducing the idea. It's easy for the staff to sell the idea, and it's a smaller patient pool initially to trial with, and so if you're having any issues, you'll find out early. It won't cause you as much grief, but I also think the feedback to the staff will be more positive, which is excellent.